Good morning. It is December 30th. It is 5:38 in the morning. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for getting some energy in the morning. I'm still out here, still doing my thing. This is the best way I like to start my days in the morning. So thanks a lot for coming along for the ride, getting some thoughts, and I just want to see what I'm thinking about. You've come to the right place. I stood there looking at him and I thought, this guy absolutely has no idea what he's talking about. This is something I've been doing since I was a child. How can he know what's better and what's different? No, I told him, you're wrong. Flashback to last Monday. We had some friends over to our house, and it's been such a long time that we've been able to have friends over to our place to enjoy a meal. And we actually had so much people that we pulled out 2 tables. Normally we have one dining table, but we have another table that usually just holds up our stuff. And so we cleared off that table and we connected it to each other so that we could have one really long table. And it's been a long time since we've had one really long table in our room, in our living room, for friends to come and enjoy. And we got together on a Monday night, which says a lot. This Monday night felt exactly like a Saturday night or a Friday night. How would it feel? Because there's so much happiness and so much excitement that you could really forget about what was going on tomorrow, the day after, the day before. It's just one of those days, happy days, even though it's at the beginning of the work week. So as we sit there on Monday evening, I stand up and I go to the refrigerator and I ask, would somebody like some Sprite? And so some people raise their hand, and a buddy of mine says, yeah, give me some. I pull up the bottle from the refrigerator and I look at the bottle. I notice it's different too, but anyway, it's Sprite is Sprite, right? So I pull up the bottle, I hold it up, and everybody's like, okay. And then my friend, my buddy, he says, you know what, never mind, not that one. I don't like that one. That one tastes different. And everybody in the room, like as if somebody had just said the wrong thing in the universe, says, no, that is Sprite. It's the same thing. My friend said, no, that's different. It has a different taste. It tastes more like, it has more lemony flavor. That is Vietnam Sprite. And I said, no, it's just a different bottle. Yeah, the bottle is clear, but it's not the green bottle that you normally see Sprite in, but it's a 2 liter or 1.5 liters of Sprite. This is Sprite. So I said, you know what? He said, no, that's different. I'm telling you, it's different. So I pour myself a glass, open up the cap. I hear that nice fizz sound that you like to hear when you open up a brand new bottle of soda. It pops. I pour it into my cup. I have a little swig. I tasted it and I looked at him and I said, no, you're wrong. This is the same thing. And he says, give me a taste. So I pour him a cup and he takes it to his lips and he drinks it down. And here I am watching him take this drink, and I forget about something. I forget about this guy's palate is amazing. This guy's palate is impeccable. There's a time that he went to his in-laws before they were married. He went to his wife's hometown, and his wife's hometown, they live out in the countryside, and so they drink water that's been boiled. And my friend's like, no, I can't drink boiled water. But he tries to curry favor with the family, and so he has some, but he doesn't spit it out. He takes it to him, kind of smiles a little bit, but he doesn't spit it out. He finds a quiet place to go spit it out. So he tells himself, oh, okay, I need to go buy some water. I need to buy me one of those 5-liter jugs of water, because we're going to be here for a little while. We're going to be here for 3 or 4 days over the weekend. So I need to go buy myself some water. And the family could not understand, why would this guy have to go out and buy water? We have lots of water here. We've got a well, we've got water, it pumps up to us, we just cook it up, and boom, fresh water just for you. And he's like, no, I can't drink boiled water. And And I'm thinking about this as I see him about to take a sip of this Sprite that I had just poured into his cup, and he finally puts it down, he swishes it around, and he looks at me, and it's probably the same look that he gave to his in-laws many years ago. He looks at them and says, "Nope, I need to get some proper water." He goes out and he buys a 5-liter Aquafina water. Aquafina is, I don't know, it's a smaller company of Pepsi. And even with fresh water, he can tell the difference between Aquafina and La Vie. And he doesn't like La Vie bottled water. He only likes Aquafina. So he can taste the difference, supposedly. So what I'm thinking. So he goes out, he buys his 5-liter, puts it down, puts it in his room. Great, he's happy. You know, everybody can drink their boiled water, and he'll have his 5-gallon thing of water. But he doesn't realize that he's going to be there a lot longer, and he's a lot thirstier than he anticipated. So he finishes that 5-liter of Aquafina water, and he says at night, he says, "Okay, honey, I got to go buy some more water tomorrow morning because I ran out of my water." So she says, "Okay," so they go to sleep. Next morning, he wakes up and he walks out into the kitchen, and he sees like this new 5-liter jug of water sitting on the table. And he's like, "Wow, my in-laws are so nice. They go out and they buy me some water, and I'm feeling the love right now." So anyway, waking up just like a parched man in the desert, he goes, pours himself a cup, takes a swig of that, and he spits it out basically, because they had filled up his 5-liter water bottle with boiled water. And so the parents look at him and they thought to themselves, wow, this guy can actually tell the difference between Aquafina water and boiled water. So Moses is holding the cup and he's looking at me, and he looks at me with the Sprite half drunk in his hand, and he looks at me and he says, "No, this is different. Trust me." And so he says it with such confidence, like you have to believe the guy. And so that small little conversation kind of died out a little bit, and nobody really gave it much thought. So I took my cup, I had poured just a small little bit of Sprite into my cup. I poured my cup and I started drinking it again, and just kind of really analyzing, tasting it. And I thought to myself, you know what? This guy's right. This thing does taste different. There's not as much carbonation in it. And he's right. It has a little bit stronger lemon flavor. And that's what I told him. I said, "No, you're wrong." And he says, "No, you're wrong. Trust me." And that kind of like made me think about, if somebody's an expert at something, that I should have known that he was an expert at tasting things. And I in my heart of hearts, I knew that about him. But I just kind of wanted to feel like I was right. I wanted to feel like, no, I've been drinking Sprite since I was a little kid. I wanted to feel like I was right, and more than that, I want to maybe subconsciously, I want to feel that I had a better palate than he did, So I'm gonna say, "No, you're wrong and I'm right." And in that moment, when I said it, I'm like, yeah, Jesse. But then when he says, "No, trust me, you're wrong," essentially, and I'm like, yeah, I'm wrong. When a professional says something, and they've dedicated, or they've got this innate skill that all of us have, when they dedicate a lot of their time to it, and they tell you something, this is the lesson I've learned, and they tell you something that is contrary to what you personally believe, if they're the expert, 99% of the time, you're wrong. And in that moment, I was wrong. And I looked at him and I said, "You know what, my bad. I told him, "My bad, bro, my bad." Because I should have believed him, because I knew that about him. And I just kind of made a glance at him and says, "Yeah, it's kind of like computers. Whenever you need help and you ask me, I just kind of ask you just to trust me, because I've been down that road. I've been down that road a little bit longer than you have." And he's like, "Yeah, exactly." And I just want to throw this little anecdote in there. It's my stepfather. He likes to pride himself, and he thinks he's a professional on every aspect of life. And to his credit, he gets a lot done. Anyway, going back to oil changes, he takes his car to Jiffy Lube, and if you watch that video way back when about fix it and don't buy it, fix it, don't buy, fix it, don't buy new. Yeah, if you watch that video, I talk about the oil change. Anyway, my stepfather, he's getting older, and so my mom calls me up, or she messages me and says, hey, you wouldn't believe it, after she watched that video, you wouldn't believe it, but your stepfather put synthetic oil into the car. I was like, wow, I don't believe it. And he took it to a shop to have them change the oil for him. I'm like, whoa, I couldn't believe it. But he's up in years and he's old and he can't really do that. Anyway, he takes it to Jiffy Lube, and he takes it to a couple spots because they can't do the thing that he wants them to do. And so he says, when you empty my oil, yeah, when you empty my oil, I like you tilt my car because the oil gets stuck in the other parts of the car. And when you tilt them, and the oil will drain out. So I like you, when you put them onto the lifting platform, I like you tilt one side. And then the guys at Jiffy Lube, they're like, no, we can't do that. No, because the oil, right, I'll pay more. I will pay more. Just tilt my car a little bit to the left so that all the oil can drain out. And the Jiffy Lube guy and two other places he took his car to, they says, no, we can't do that. That's so unsafe. No, we're not gonna do that. He said, I'll pay more. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, like, you mean you pay more, like 5 quarts of oil more? Why don't you just flush it out? No, but it has to be tilted because my stepfather knows the way that cars are designed, and he knows exactly the ins and outs, and that's why you have to pitch it at a 25-degree angle so you can get every drop and the drop out. And the Jiffy Lube guy looks at my stepfather and says, sir, you don't know how these cars are designed. This point where the oil comes out is the lowest point of the car. That's how gravity works. But he would not have it. You know, the professional is telling him it's one way, and my stepfather is insisting on his way, when most likely 99% of the time he is wrong. And so let the pros do their job. So that was the lesson I took away from that little interaction. That sometimes the end result is not going to be as harmless as a lemony fizzy drink. And I just gotta learn sometimes to step back and look at, if somebody's a pro at it or if somebody's well versed in it, then let them take the lead, and don't have to feel like you want to be you're fine being in the passenger seat. You don't want to always be in the driver's seat. And it's a small little interaction, but yeah, let the pros do their job, follow along, and hey, your skill, whatever you have, you'll be happy when people says to you, hey, you know what? I trust you. Thanks. So anyway, thanks a lot for listening to my video. That's my little rant about the Sprite bottle. That's my story called Sprite. Yeah, I like developing these small little mini stories into little bigger stories and arcing, and have all these smaller pieces that add to it. But yeah, no joke though, my friend's palate is amazing. You can tell the difference. Yeah, it's awesome. All right guys, love you, take care. Keep it up. If you got something you want to do every single day, just do it. Do it for 5 minutes, do it for 10 minutes. Got some exercise. Today in Hawaii is Wednesday, so it's a workout Wednesday. Mom, go hit the gym or go out for your swim. Yeah, and we'll catch you guys later. Aloha, take care, and we'll see you again.